The Outsiders. Here we have a picture of the book, the front cover, and here we have a picture of the front cover of the movie. And now, moving on to the Venn diagram that compares similarities and differences between the movie and the book, Outsiders. Starting off with the similarities. There were many similarities in the book and movie, such as jokes, quotes, and storyline. One similarity was that Johnny tells Ponyboy stay gold, and that was very important to include in both. All of the events that were told in the book and movie were mostly included in both. One big difference in the book was that the book had more detail and explained every thought and opinion Ponyboy had and why he was writing a story. For a small difference, Derry slaps Ponyboy when he comes home late, whereas in the movie, he punches him. Also in the book, they tell us that the Socs come from the west side and Greasers come from the east side. And in the movie, Socs come from the south and Greasers come from the north side. Moving on to the movie, everything happens really fast in the movie, and they skip out many scenes, and they didn't talk about Cherry being a spy, and they didn't tell why Ponyboy didn't want to cut his hair, and they didn't tell us they didn't talk a lot about Soda Pop and Sandy. And now, moving on to media elements that the director used. One media element that the director used was lights. Here you can see it is dark and there are no lights. And this is the rumble. So the director used some lights to show the faces of the characters so you can see what's going on. And it is important to know what's going on in order to understand what is happening. Also, the director used close-ups. Close-ups help us see the emotion or feeling the character might be having. Here is a visual effect, fire. The director used fire to show that Ponyboy and Johnny are brave enough to go inside and save the children. Here we have a small town, and it's the setting. So Greasers and Socs lived in a small town. As you can see, it's not very modern. And now we have voiceovers. Voiceovers were used when Ponyboy was writing his journal and someone else was talking in the back. Volume. The director raised the volume in many parts to add dramatic effects, such as when Dally was being shot by a police officer. Here we have sound. I used a car to represent sound because Dallas likes fast cars, and the director put in a car noise effect to show his personality. Now moving on to the sequel for The Outsiders. If I were to create a sequel for The Outsiders, I would still have it remain with Greasers and Socs but add more people into their gangs. The movie would start from where it left off and Johnny and Dally would still remain dead. Ponyboy, Soda Pop, and Derry would still be living together, but the problem in the movie would be then them getting separated when the Socs find out they can be placed in foster homes. I would add another character in both gangs, especially the Socs, because Bob was killed and he was the leader of the gang. And here I have a picture of someone that looks like a Soc. The new Soc would be the ruler for the Socs and the one to cause problems for Ponyboy, Soda Pop, and Derry. In the gang of Greasers, I would add a new Grease that would help Ponyboy, Soda Pop fight the Socs and keep them together. And here is a picture of the new Grease. Also in the sequel, the Greasers will try to change the way society thinks and everyone would be the same, not have differences between Socs and Greasers. I would have the setting of the movie in the 60s because it would be a year later when Johnny and Dallas died.